Hey guys, I got a question in the comments section on one of my videos from my friend Musicer13 asking how I personally deal with songwriter's block. So I know this is something that's very personal and individualized depending on your personal musical style and personal writing style, but I wanted to share my top 5 tips for overcoming songwriter's block with you so that maybe some of these can inspire you or give you ideas for different things you could try. And of course, leave me a comment letting me know what your favorite tips or favorite ways to write whenever you're experiencing writer's block are so that I can be inspired by those too. So first of all, I wanted to talk about how I personally view creativity because I believe that creativity is the natural state of all of us. That when we're in our natural state, we're automatically creative. So really, it's all about getting back to that state. So I view creativity as kind of like a river, like something that's constantly flowing. But when we're experiencing songwriter's block, it's almost as if we've built up these layers of obstacles, mental, emotional, whatever obstacles that are acting kind of like a dam to the river of creativity that kind of stop the flow. My favorite tactic for kind of deconstructing these obstacles to creativity is to meditate. And when I say that, I don't mean it just like sitting cross-legged and clearing my head. Although sometimes if I really am overthinking a lot or my thoughts are racing, I will just kind of sit and close my eyes and try to just let the thoughts pass through my mind like clouds and then pass out of my mind until there's no negativity left in my head, and normally that puts me in a creative state. But I don't always meditate that way. Sometimes my form of meditation is just taking a walk outside for like 20 minutes to kind of just get my conscious mind out of the way a little bit. Sometimes I'll also just strum chords on the guitar without thinking about all the things I have to do or thinking about my day, but just focusing on the emotion or some kind of event that I want to describe or something that I want to convey through that song, and just kind of strumming through the chords and allowing myself to experience that until I can think of the words that I feel best describe what I'm trying to convey. So that's my first tip, some sort of meditation, something to, whatever you consider meditation, to get your conscious mind out of the way of your creative subconscious. So tip number 2 has to do with your songwriting environment. So I know most of us can't just pick up and move to a completely different apartment or house or city. What I mean by environment really is surrounding yourself with reminders of the things that you love, the things that inspire you, the things that put you in a creative place. So for me, I have this sign that I printed out and put on this like pretty little my attempt at being creative like bulletin board thing, and it says, "Be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire," because I kind of consider that one of my main creative mottos, so to speak. And I'm a big quote person, so I've always liked to have quote boards in my room and that kind of thing, just because it primes my subconscious mind for being in a creative space. So that's something I would really recommend. Also for me, I like to songwrite in a room by myself with the door shut, no matter where I am, so that I can feel alone and really tune into my own voice. So that's how environment is important to me when I'm trying to overcome songwriter's block. My third tip is something I use from time to time. I wouldn't say as frequently as the first 2, but it's envisioning an audience that helps you to convey what you're trying to say. So what I mean by that is, if you're writing a song and there is one person that you're specifically trying to convey something to through that song, and maybe they'll never hear the song, but just imagine that you're singing only to them and that you're not singing to anyone else. That don't think of how you're going to upload it on your YouTube channel or put it on your Twitter or share it on Facebook or let the world see it, but just think of that one person and just imagine that you're speaking directly to them. And that also can work to really help get the emotion of the song across. So that's another thing that I use. I normally use that more so when I'm performing a song to try and really get the emotion through than I do for songwriting itself. But that's something else you can use. Or on the flip side of that, sometimes when I'm writing something that is difficult for me to put into words, or something that feels so personal that it's hard for me to envision anyone hearing what I'm saying, I will imagine no audience whatsoever. So what I mean by that is I tell myself that it's not going on my YouTube channel ever, that I'm never going to upload it. And even though I normally actually end up uploading it, like later on, it lets me really access those emotions and memories and pieces of myself that would be difficult to share if I was imagining that a bunch of people were going to be watching it online. Okay, so tip number 4 would be putting pressure on yourself. This isn't something that I normally advocate, but in this case, sometimes it can be a good thing. So what I mean by putting pressure on yourself is kind of forcing the words out. Sometimes this really helps if you have a struggle with perfectionism, which I definitely have in the past. So my favorite way to put pressure on myself when I feel my perfectionism blocking my creativity is to get a video camera and my microphone actually recording as I'm writing a song. So even if the song doesn't come out perfect, and even if I just completely scrap the video, just looking at myself being filmed and knowing that I'm being recorded sometimes gets words out that I otherwise would never tap into because I would be too worried about how it would sound, too worried about trying to make it polished. Another way to do this is just kind of like free writing, and this is something I actually do all the time, which is where you just force yourself to keep writing and writing and writing whatever phrases are coming to your head as you're imagining the song. And even if you're thinking this is going to sound ridiculous, write it down anyway, and then save all those phrases in a notebook for future reference. And you might be surprised how many of them you end up incorporating into other songs, even if you were just about to trash them at the time. My 5th and final tip is to schedule a block of time every day for yourself, for your music, for creating. Because unlike when you work a job and you have a shift and you go in and I have to work from 9 to noon or whatever, with creating sometimes it can be difficult to give yourself that time. And so love yourself enough to have a period of time every day where you let yourself create, where you let yourself put your emotions into music and do that for yourself every day. Even if it's just for 10 or 20 minutes in a day, just doing it consistently every single day has helped me so much, even if it was just for a short period of time, to kind of keep the creative thoughts running through me. And I'll find that when I do that sometimes later on in the day, even when I'm like doing something completely different, like cleaning or something, my mind will kind of still be dwelling on the writing that I was doing earlier and piecing together parts of the song. And that's where like you get those magical occasional moments where a lyric will just come into your head as you're doing something completely unrelated to songwriting. I mean, obviously I love when that happens because it makes songwriting so much more effortless, but for me it normally happens when I'm writing consistently. So thank you for listening to this vlog. Those were my top 5 tips for overcoming obstacles when I'm songwriting, for overcoming songwriter's block. Again, please share your personal ways that you overcome songwriter's block in the comments below, because I would love to hear how you cope with it and get some ideas from you too. As always, feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and like my Facebook page, and all of those social media links are in the description box below. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful, inspiring, and beautiful Thursday today, and I'll see you all again in the next video. Bye guys!